you know, it's always noisy there. I think there's probably an undertone of anger with the noise this time, just based on the fact that the Riders are not a very good football team. You know, their offense ranks near the bottom of the league, their defense ranks near the bottom of the league, their confidence ranks near the bottom of the league right now, and it's a good situation from the Stampeders on paper. But, you know, going into that city is not an easy thing for this team, never traditionally has been. And yeah, they're going to have to be on top of their game. And if they can, you know, kind of put together the same kind of effort they did there 2 weeks ago in terms of the clutch performance in the second half, they should be okay tonight.
Against Hamilton last week, we finally saw the offense show some sparks that we were expecting so far. You're targeting on the receivers this week?
Well, it's still a matter of getting the deep ball in action, right? And the deep ball still, for the most part, has not been there. They tried to stretch the field a little more against the Tiger Cats, didn't really hook up on them, but still, yeah, I think to get Joffrey Reynolds into this game, it's incumbent on Henry Burris and the receivers to kind of stretch the field. And it's still up in the air whether or not Kenyon Rambo is going to play tonight, so that therefore the pressure goes on guys like Johnny Forzani and Jabari Arthur, for instance. Both of those guys I thought played really, really well against Hamilton, and they need more of that because, let's face it, I mean, R Romby Bryant has not been a huge factor in terms of getting into the end zone this year. He's only got one touchdown, well off his pace of last year, so it's got to be up to the other guys to start carrying the load and maybe take a little bit of the pressure off a guy like R Romby Bryant and Nik Lewis, who let's face it, who has been superb this year. So yeah, I think the passing game really has to stretch the field and do it against a passing defense that has really been poor, for lack of a better word, in Saskatchewan.
When the Riders have the ball, who should we be looking at on Calgary's defense?
Well, you know, obviously the loss of Juwan Simpson is going to be tough to overcome, but they've done very well with Robert McCune in the middle this past couple games. But, you know, the matchup always is Brandon Smith against the very best receiver on the other team, and typically that's been Weston Dressler, and that to me is the marquee matchup of this game. Brandon Smith has been superb this year for the Stampeders. There's no other way to put it. He just is pitted against the best receiver on the other team and always does a job against him. And I think that's a great matchup to watch. It'll be interesting to see how much Dallas Baker gets into the game for the Riders this year. They just picked him up in a trade with Montreal for Luke Mullender, and it'll be interesting to see how he's handled, because that's kind of a new commodity that the Stampeders have to deal with. But at the end of the day, it's still about shutting down the guys that you know all about, which is, of course, Weston Dressler, Chris Getzlaff, guys like that the Stampeders have to do a job on them.
Anything else we should be looking for tonight's game?
Just in terms of what the Stampeders do in the second half, John Hufnagel couldn't have been happier with the way his team responded the last time in Regina, in the sense that the Riders got a big play out of the gates in the third quarter after trailing at halftime. And, you know, down that road before, the Stampeders haven't really responded very well. But last time in Regina, they basically responded in kind and won that game in the fourth quarter. And if they're going to have any success tonight, that's going to be the key. Is, you know, Saskatchewan's going to come out of the gate fast in the third quarter, regardless of what the score is at halftime. The Stampeders have to be able to withstand that and kind of take back the control and run out the clock in the fourth quarter.